Joe Phil.
You can do anything you want when you sexy. Money make me feel good. People don't impress me. Shawty, I'm a god with a stroke. It's a blessing. Count of the dead. Yeah, count of the dead.
Hey guys, welcome to my podcast. My name is Reace, and the title or name of this podcast is just Reace. What's up? Hey. And now I'll be completely honest with you. I was going back and forth on the title as far as what I wanted to name this particular podcast. And I didn't really want to name it after myself, but then the thing is, I can only be me. I didn't want to put myself in a box and only stay on a certain topic. It's just, I want to be able to, talk about anything and everything. And of course, this is coming from, my mind, my opinions, my Reace facts. You know what I mean? So I named it Just Reace. Because I can only be myself. It's me, my story, my life, things that I've been through. I wanted to create a podcast for so long. Really, if I am going to put myself in a box, I kind of wanted to be that voice for not just myself, but for others who realize that you don't have to be perfect. And what I mean by that is, you try, do your best, and keep going. We put all this pressure on ourselves, thinking that we have to be a certain way that doesn't fit the mold. Therefore, we're running a race, trying to get to a place that we're not even supposed to be in the first place, if that makes sense. Hear me out. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, I'm okay with my flaws. And I'm okay to talk about my flaws. And not a lot of people are okay with that. I don't want to pretend that I'm perfect. I don't want to pretend that I have my shit together, because I don't. And the moment that you put yourself in this place to where you feel like you have to always seem like you have your shit together, I feel like that's where anxiety and depression comes into play. So this podcast is Just Reace because I can only be myself. And what's cool about it is that I can tell you about myself versus having a conversation with, others and them trying to tell me about me when I'm like, but I'm the one experiencing this. So really, I'm here to just kind of tell you a story. I'm a storyteller. I am a storyteller. People go through things. I'm not saying that, advice isn't all that great, because it is great. I love knowledge. I love picking other people's brains. I love, getting different perspectives and seeing how I can take that and see if that puzzle piece fits to where I'm going, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to start this podcast because I can just fucking talk. And if you just want me to shut the fuck up, all you gotta do is just hit pause. I'm gonna be myself. One thing about me is that I am going to be myself, and I have learned that, no, I ain't everybody's cup of tea. And, I understand when in Rome, but that's cool. That's why I stay at home, because when in Rome, you want to be able to fit the vibe, and I'm a whole vibe myself. So that's why I'm a homebody at the same time. Anyway, so that's why I started the podcast. I wanted to create a voice for those who are tired of feeling the pressure of thinking that they have to be perfect, that you have to have your shit together 24/7. And, my theory today, life is always about improving, trying to get your shit together. It is what it is. Like, I want to say my hashtag for 2022 is it is what it is. Hashtag it is what it is, because really, honestly, what can you do about it? You live life you go through things and you experience and you learn. And at that given moment in time, you felt like that was the best option, the better choice, whatever. And so you can't beat yourself up on that. Now, you're going to take that ass whooping that life gives you, but, and then you don't do that no more. So I kind of wanted to create that space. Now, here's another title I thought about naming my podcast, and this is just an introduction. This is an icebreaker. I thought about just diving into a story to kind of better explain me as a person, but I've noticed that you can't really do that. I'm a very dive deep in person first, and then swim my way to the surface and to the shore. And I have realized that a lot of people like to start off in the shallow end first, dip a toe, get your feet wet a little bit, then kind of, get to the knees, and then finally let the water hit your stomach. Sometimes I just want to dive in because I'm, let's go ahead and get the shocking shit out the way first. I feel like, it brings a little bit more oomph to what's really going on. I know, crazy, right? But I'm excited to start this podcast. Another reason why it's taking me so long to do so, because, I have kids. And for me, my main priority are my children. I gave birth to them. I'm in charge of these little souls. And although I'm not a perfect person, I want to be a good mommy. And to me personally, I feel like nothing matters more than what you've created, especially if it's your flesh, when it's your blood. You got to take care of them. You just have to, because taking care of them is taking care of part of you. And sometimes it can be hard, because when you can't take care of them, then you're not taking care of you. And then when you can't even take care of you, it's like, how the hell are you supposed to take care of them? So I put them first. I try my best to put them first. And, I'm going to give this disclaimer because fuck it. Those who personally know me, on the outside looking in, it may look like that I don't put them first. But when you're not living with me, when you're not there walking along with me day to day, there's a lot of behind the scene things that you don't see. But they do get a chance to witness, me being there for my children because of the way how my children are. And I think that's so awesome, because they're amazing children. They're great. My kids they are great. Their personalities, the way how they love me. I feel like the way how your child loves on you is a reflection on how well you're doing in parenting. And it may not be like that in every case, but for me, that's why it's called Just Reace. For Just Reace, for me, that means a lot. I'm very hard on myself when it comes to parenting. Everybody has a different style of how they raise their kids, but I've been through so much. And my kids, they accept me for me. They know that I'm not perfect. And the last thing I want to do is, my life is crumbling and I'm trying to get it together, and they're witnessing these things. They're here with me. So they see the highs and they see the lows. They feel the highs and they feel the lows. So we're all in this together. And it's the thing of you being the parent, you being the mom, keeping your head above water to make sure that you get your little duckies, across the freaking lake on a rainy freaking day trying to get to shelter. You know what I'm saying? If nature can do it, why can't I? And it's still tragic for them. So it's like, it is what it is. That's how I look at it. My job is to get my little ducklings across the lake, the river. Okay, my job is to be mama bear and to protect, because they are my responsibility. So I do put off a lot of things that I do want to do. And I know a lot of people say, well, I know you have the kids, but don't let them be a distraction. It's just like, no, don't let you be a distraction. Don't let this world be a distraction. Don't let this go chase this money be a distraction. No. And maybe that's probably why I'm broke. At the moment, I know I'm not trying to claim that energy, but hashtag, it is what it is. It's real life shit, man. It's real life shit. It is real life shit. And one awesome thing about this podcast, what I hope to deliver to you, is that we can laugh about it. A lot of people look at my life and they be like, oh my God, that's not a laughing matter. But for me, I'm like, I'm on this roller coaster, and have you ever been on a roller coaster? I don't like going to, and you're going to learn little weird things about me as we go, because people think I be saying shit just to be saying it. And I'm like, no, I'm dead ass when I say this. Why do people go to amusement parks? Life is already a freaking roller coaster. So you mean to tell me you pay money to get in, stand in a long line, and say, ooh, it's my turn for me to put my life in jeopardy? And it's like that when you get in a car. It's like that when you're at home. It's like that when you're at the girl. It doesn't matter where you are. That's just, life is already a roller coaster in itself. And so to me, I find it very wild that people go to the amusement park and get on a roller coaster on purpose and be like, woo, like, okay. And it's not, I've been on roller coasters and they're fun, but do the comparison, really do the comparison. There's my sister has she's gained a concussion from a roller coaster. Okay. You stood in a line to get a concussion. That, so I'm like, nah, y'all can keep the roller. I'll go to a water park. It's like, I'll drown. I'm okay with drowning, because I've drowned in real life before, just trying to survive everyday life. This is nothing. I know how to hold my breath. But that other shit and popping out of rides and stuff like that. But then now I kind of like gained this phobia, because I'll be watching all kinds of stuff like on YouTube, and one day it was like really hot, and I'm a very like mind over matter type person, so I'm like, I'm just gonna watch like videos of a water park, different water parks that I would like to visit one day, all over the world and things like that. And so I'm on YouTube, and I'm seeing all these great cool water park and attractions and things like that. Don't ask me any of the names, because I have forgotten since then. And then eventually, this video is done. Oh, great. 30 minutes of my life. Cool. But that seems like a great place to go. The next video comes up. The next video comes up, because it's on autoplay. And then eventually, I look up and I'm watching people not... I don't know where these people go when something goes wrong on the water slide. Something happens to where they spin off freaking course. And then just what do you do if that's your last dying moment? You're just damn, I just wanted to have fun, and now I'm in the air on this floaty device, and this is not gonna save me. So so I don't know. I'm like, y'all can keep it. But I think it's as good as it's gonna get for me is going in a wave pool, because it's this is as close to real life shit. You go to the beach and you got waves knocking you down. This is nature. It's nature. It's nature. But what's not nature is getting on the floaty device and not staying the course. Life is already like that. So I want to get on, but now I'm scared. So that's how I feel about it. Life's already, a lot. And so I don't care to go to amusement parks. I'll probably go for funnel cakes and shit. But I'd just rather buy my own funnel cake maker and just make it at home. I'm a very social person, but I'm very homebody. Like when I'm at home, I'm at home. And it has to be a really good reason for me to leave the house. But my issue with that is once I leave the house, there's no telling when I'm coming back, because then I'm a social butterfly. So I find myself like spending a lot of time in places where it's just random. Like, I don't know, like, okay, paint this picture, right? Dropping the kids off, to school, or dropping the kid off, because, like, there's another whole backstory of to why, like, my other 3 aren't going to school, but it's okay because I do believe in homeschool. The only reason why I am putting them into school because I need a job. And I'm not saying that, like, God is not going to provide, because God has provided since day one, since the beginning of time. So, but he also gave us a sound mind, and, like, we are equipped with logic. Like, come on, like, look at today's time and look at what COVID has done, and you now have the opportunity to just pray about it, send them to school, and then just go get a job in a field of something that you like. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm seizing the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, y'all go to school. Like, I've taught you guys the basics. You know your ABCs. You're learning your ABCs. You know your shapes, your colors, how to be a decent human being. I'm teaching you a little bit about who you are while I'm getting this homeschooling in. Now I feel okay to send you off to the world. And that's just my way of thinking, and I'm comfortable with that, and I'm okay with that. Usually when I tell people that logic, they kind of like are like, no, that's not the way to do it. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm just trying to get my little ducklings across the lake. However you decide to get your ducklings across the lake is however you decide to get your ducklings across the lake. But I'm homeschooling, and I want to make sure that I teach my child that let's learn. You know what? You guys stay at home with me. Let's learn one another, and let me allow you. Let me put on you as a parent, because you're a parent and we put things on our children, but in prettier words, let me teach you that with mommy, you can be yourself with mommy. And we can face adversity together. There is nothing like a child feeling like they cannot come home and figure life out. Okay. I don't know about you, but for me personally and others that I've conversed with, a lot of us had to figure out life outside of home because we didn't feel comfortable to come to the person that created us, who we're more than likely more alike than the people outside the walls of our home. So I wanted to create that space for my children. So hell yeah, I said I'm homeschooling them. They're going to learn their ABCs. They're going to learn. And I'm going to take the time out to do so. So was I making a lot of money then? No. But I'm getting my ducklings across this lake. And I want to make sure that they are comfortable with being who they are now. So then therefore, when they go out there into the real world, they don't have to question themselves as much, and then they have to wait until they're in their freaking 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s trying to figure themselves out. And here's the kicker: you're always going to be figuring yourself out. Let me say that clearly. Because I really feel like your puzzle piece is never completed until you die. And then you move on to the next puzzle, because you're discovering life and you're always going to be learning. Knowledge is infinite. It doesn't stop. And so you're always going to be adding to your puzzle piece. So do I have it all figured out? Fuck, I don't have it all figured out. And that's another reason why I'm excited to create this podcast, because for those who are listening, I want to tell you something about me. And there's a reason why I say this, and there's backstories to all of the things that I say. I am not perfect. And I am not going to pretend to be. I have my flaws. I vent. I get angry. And I say off the wall shit. But I enjoy my life. Don't get it twisted and don't get it messed up. Things are not perfect. And I'm not going to pretend that they are. But I'm still going to walk around this bitch with a smile on my face. Because I'm alive and I'm here. I'm sitting at my window. It's quiet. I'm seizing the opportunity of having this moment to be able to do this because the kids are at their grandparents. Hallelujah. And honey is catching up on sleep. So I don't have to entertain nobody but my fucking self. Okay? And you, for those who are listening. For those who are listening. I appreciate it because you don't have to listen to this. I had my fear of, wanting to do a podcast because, and we're gonna kind of like make a left. We're gonna turn left. So we're taking a drive. Take a drive with me. I'm the driver, and I've been told that I can't drive. So it's probably gonna be a lot of random things, but this is the icebreaker of you guys getting to know me, and really me getting to know myself as I talk to you, and us learning things together. It's not a thing of, well, let me give you advice. No. It's not a thing of, guys, I need your advice. No. I don't really too much care to talk about what's going on in the world because it's like, fuck. I already can't even be my own hero in my own story. And, I'm trying to be the hero to my children. I'm trying to be a hero to my significant other. I'm trying to be a hero to my neighbor. I'm trying to be a hero to, and not in a sense of like, oh my God, let me help out everybody. But I am a light worker, which means that I want to love on everybody that I come across. This world needs so much healing. Oh my God, let me just brighten up your day type person. Okay. And so I don't want to really spend a lot of time on my podcast creating a platform talking about worldly things. I mean, that's what Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and YouTube, everybody else already does that. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be good at it because I used to do celebrity gossip, the instant tea, and that was cool. But I can't really talk about someone else's life if I'm not living it. So for me, I found it uncomfortable to talk about these celebrities who are human just like, me. And everybody's like, oh my God. Oh my, how can I put it? There's nothing wrong with admiring someone. And I found it very troubling that when these celebrities go through human shit, people are quick to dismiss them. People are quick to cancel them. Cancel. How I pronounce certain things. It's like, what? I don't know sometimes if I have a country accent or not. I don't know. But people are cancel culture. People are quick to just, oh my God, look at that person. Did you see what they did? Oh my God, how could they? And it's like, but your life's falling apart. But because the cameras aren't on you, your imperfections aren't being focused on. And that's the thing of, I don't want to ever come off like I'm perfect because I'm not. I try to, I'll be completely honest with you. and I'm understanding this about myself now, and I'm okay with it. I'm no longer at the point in my life where I really want to pick and pry at, whoa, what's wrong with me? What's wrong? Maybe I need to stop. Fuck all that, because it's just like, no. My favorite thing about meeting people is telling them an imperfection of mine or showing them right off bat. And it starts with saying something crazy. And it's not, and it's just, and it's real life, because here's the thing. I'm not going to come and pretend with you. Life is already hard, okay? It becomes a bit easier the more you start to settle into yourself. And what I mean by that is just learning how to be you. You're learning how to be you. I do not want to take the time out learning how to be someone else to satisfy someone else. I don't think it's fair. In return, I create a space for you to just be you. Because I don't feel like it's fair for me to tell you how to be to satisfy me. So I'm a vibe. I'm a vibe. I may not agree with everything that you do and how you do it, but I know how to mind my business, because who am I to tell you to be uncomfortable just to make me uncomfortable? And who the fuck are you to tell me how to be to make you uncomfortable? No. So with that being said, when I meet people, and I feel like the reason why people are comfortable around me like ASAP, because I'm not going to come to you and put on this show that I'm perfect. I'm going to give you the disclaimer right then and there of what I'm feeling. I can only be myself naturally. Being somebody else and trying to shape myself and mold myself into what others feel like life should be is such a headache, because there is a way to go about life. However, I am uniquely me. You are uniquely you. And you and I are under pressure of being a certain way on how life is supposed to be, based off of what who said. Now, and this, and I I'm not going to dive too deep into this, because I don't really want my podcast to even be a religious thing, a spiritual thing, a beliefs thing. Really, if anything, I just want it to be a place where it's just like, let's talk, let's be honest, let's be real, let's step outside of everything that we've been taught, and let's talk about experience. And then as we talk about the things that we've experienced, when it comes to those certain things, we can then dive into my personal beliefs. But I'm not there yet, because I'll be completely honest with you, when it comes to spirituality and religion and things like that, I am learning to hold that a little bit more sacred now. I don't feel like I don't want to share my tips with y'all on how I get closer to God. I don't. Because what's for me is for me. And there's nothing like explaining to people, like you're having this conversation, right? You're having this conversation. It's like, oh my God, God is so good. He's so great. Yes, he is. Oh my God. And this is how I get closer to God. Oh, and this is how, and then and then it becomes a thing of, well, that's not right. That's not how you get closer to God. This is how you get closer to God. Well, no, that's not how you get closer to God. This is how, and then it's just like, no, we're not going to do that. So I also kind of want to be clear, stay clear of that, because I'm not comfortable with sharing my personal beliefs when it comes to my relationship with God. But yeah, I don't even know how we got there. I think we've made a right. We took a right. So we're not following GPS here. There's no GPS. This is just an icebreaker. We're going for a drive, guys. We're going for a drive. I think that's what my podcast really just is. There's no destination. We're just going for a drive. And sometimes just going for a drive is nice. I hear a baby crying, and it's so sweet. It's so sweet. We're going for a drive. We're going for a drive. Put whatever you can put in the tank, whatever time you want to invest into listening to this. We're just going for a drive. You want to put $5 in the tank just to go up the street and back, that's fine. If you got a $10 bill and you want to put If you got a $10 bill and you want to put $7 in the gas tank so you can go get you something from Dollar Tree, that is fine. If you got $20, whatever, however you want to spend this time, we're going for a drive. We're just going for a drive. All right? We're just going for a drive. And wherever you're driving to, and if this is on and it's playing, great, cool. If you're sitting at home listening to this, then this may or may not apply for you, but this is just background noise. I realize that my venting is background noise for a lot of people because I'm find myself having to repeat myself a lot, and I get frustrated with it. But I realize that I have a very background noise-ish type voice. Because, I mean, I can talk a lot. And I can hop from subject to subject to subject. I just like to have conversation. I just like to talk. I like to talk. I like to talk about, what's on my mind. And then, then you get to talk about what's on your mind. And then, then you go, ooh, did you see that bird? And then, I go, no, I'm driving. Let's switch driver seats. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like how my conversations are. My conversations are great car conversations, where, you take turns driving, so like feel free to like, I want you to also to feel free to tell your story and be like, man, like, no, I can relate to that. Not, girl, you crazy or whatever, whatever the case may be. That's another thing, another reason why I didn't want to start a podcast, because like I'm already my own self-critic, but then I realized I think that's bullshit. I feel like that saying is bullshit because for me, I know people say you're your own worst critic. No, not really, because when I'm by myself and I'm not surrounded by people, I'm chilling, like I'm good. And I'm like, bitch, you did that. Yes. In everything that I do. And then I don't become my self-critic until I come across other people, because then other people's opinions. So like it's like yes and no. Like yes, I'm my own self-critic because I allow other people to criticize me, and I shouldn't open up that door. So I'm gonna chop it up as that. But really, honestly, no. The people are critics. The critics rated this movie as the critics. Other people are critics. You're not your own worst critic, because, well, I guess it depends on, for me, if I'm looking in the mirror right now, and I guess I'm talking to myself when I say this, and maybe this can apply to you. But no, I am not my own self-critic. That's bullshit. I love myself too much. I've been through too much for me not to love myself too much. Why the fuck would I criticize? The only time I start criticizing myself is when someone else's opinion don't match what I wanted them to say about this particular thing. Let's just be real. And so then therefore you look at my piece of artwork, my doing, like, well, it could be better. And then therefore my ego's bruised. And then I go throw myself a pity party. And then therefore become my own worst critic because somebody else don't see what I see, what I created. Man, no. So no, I'm debunking that. And it is what it is. Hashtag it is what it is. No. You allow other people to criticize you by their opinion. And it's just like the whole thing about other people is it's supposed to be a delight for me to be in your world and for you to be in my world. And the moment our worlds collide or we don't agree on something, now all of a sudden it's chaotic, when I could just be like, that's how you feel, fuck your opinion. And that's another reason why I'm in trouble a lot when it comes to like the people who care about me the most. Sometimes I have this very I don't give a fuck attitude, and it's not the fact that I don't give a fuck, but it is what it is. It literally is what it is. I am me. I am here. This is what you get. I have good intentions. All I want to do is love you and be kind. Am I perfect? No. Do I get into stupid shit? Yes. I told you. If I could, instead of swimming to the middle of the ocean, I just would rather be on an airplane, on a helicopter, and just drop into the middle of it and go, ooh, all right, now get me up, and then take me back to shore. Or like, like maybe I need to go deep sea diving to get that, that urge to just hop into the middle of shit and be like, okay, You know what I mean? But then also I feel like that's not a flaw. I feel like that's the spiritual genetic makeup of me. You know what I mean? I feel like we go in this life thinking that the things that don't work out for us are flaws when we just don't know how to place them. You know, if you're a deep diver, you're a deep diver for a reason. I was having a conversation, and like I said, this is an icebreaker. I don't even know how. Let's see. It's been 35 fucking minutes, and I don't even know if I've said not one thing interesting. But this is an icebreaker because this is my first episode, my first podcast. So it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I want you to get to know me. Not your perception of me. I think it's kind of cool that like being able to do this podcast, I'm giving a different audience another view of me. You know, people are going to view you different depending on where they met you in life. And unfortunately, sometimes, you know, you're not growing fast enough for them to be like, whew, okay, you're okay. That's how I look at it. But anyways, I was having a conversation with my sister the other day, and you know, her amongst other people who care for me and love me dearly, I call them my spirit team, because God's placed them in my life for a reason. And if they're the ones who have been able to like hold it down and be there through my stupid shit, I call it stupid shit, but it's really not. It's the decisions that I felt like I made then were the decisions that I felt like were best. Now I call it stupid shit because like, it's like stupid shit. You know, like you take a shit and you wipe your ass and you have to keep wiping until it's gone. Stupid shit. Very time consuming, very gross, very nasty, very ill, stupid shit. So that's what I mean by stupid shit. Like, shit happens, yes, but you still have to clean it up. And depending on what you're cleaning it up with, sometimes it can be a very long process. And then you got to go and wash your hands and sing the ABCs and make sure you use warm to hot water a little bit. You know, don't burn your hands, and make sure you use good soap. And you get your nails, and you got to scrub up to damn near your freaking elbows. Stupid shit. Sometimes you be in stupid shit knee deep, and it takes time to get shit off. Have you ever stepped in dog shit? That shit stinks. Stupid shit. People have been there by my side through my stupid shit, and so now it's getting wiped up. It's getting wiped up. However, you know, in life, you don't stop taking shits. Insert crying emoji here. No, seriously. So anyway, so I was having a conversation with my sister, and you know, her amongst other people, you know, who care about me dearly, that I'm grateful for, I'm thankful for, and I hold on to dearly, and I want to make them proud because like I cherish them so much. And I thank God for everybody that's been in my circle and has been a part of my life during hard times, the ups and the highs and the lows. Okay. I'm gonna say they, so now I'm gonna put them in they. Tell me that, you know, Reese, it's not your job to save everybody. It's not your job. It's not your job to save everybody. It's not your job. Why do you feel like you have to do this? Why do you feel like you have to do that? Why do you feel but you don't? And then they ask me these questions because I put myself in these situations where I get the short end of the stick. And that's just to kind of like sum it all up, so I won't have to go into story time because this is an icebreaker of you getting to know me a little bit more. I'm not, you know, I'm gonna have to shallow in this and then go from there because not a lot of people can handle me when I dive into the deep end. And maybe this may be too deep for some. Anyways, you know, it makes me feel like when they ask me that question that something's wrong with me, because I don't live a normal life. I don't have a quote unquote normal perspective. I view things differently, genuinely, wholeheartedly me. I have not trained myself to be like everybody else. And what I mean by that is, you go through the peer pressure of, I do fit in some categories, and I know people say, well, you shouldn't have titles. No, fuck that. Without titles, titles are words, and we need words to be able to describe things. That's why we talk. That's why we speak. That's why we need words. So yeah, no, we need titles. I'm sorry, but we need titles. Titles mean things. Do you have to own up to those titles, or do you have to wear that badge? No, you do not, but they're words, wordplay. Okay. You can wordplay in your life. So short end of the stick. And what I mean by that is like, I tend to put a lot of people first. So this is the snowball effect of my life. Okay. I put people first. Okay. I will give you what I have off my back. Put people first. And if I don't have it physically, then I have it mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Bug! Jesus Christ. And I don't know I don't know what kind of bugs these are, but I remember one time I was in Austin, and this one particular bug that I'm looking at right now had flew into my shirt and bit me on the titty. And I didn't like that little sting. And I'm like, oh my God, is it poisonous? Am I gonna die? So I took a Benadryl just in case, because I don't play that, okay? Ain't nobody got time for that. It's like I came to enjoy myself here in Austin, not get bitten by a fucking bug and die and have fever. Ain't nobody, like, no one had time for that. So like, anytime I see him, I'm sorry, you guys to die. I don't know how you made it in my house. And I don't like the way you move in, and I don't like to really kill nature like that. But it is what it is, because I'm not experiencing that again. I don't feel like freaking out. Well, it's a screen right there. There is a screen right there. Where's the spray at? Because I don't have time. I'm not even gonna get the bug spray. I'm just gonna. I'm using air freshener. Y'all don't act like you ain't never used air freshener to kill a bug before. I don't like smushing bugs, because then you have to like pick it up, and it's like, I'd rather not do that, because like then it's like bug juices, and then I'm like, ugh. So I just like rather spray it with something. But then if I have to smack the shit out of it, I will. And like this one looks like I gotta smack the shit out of it. But I really sprayed it with the air freshener to kind of like distract it from. I'm just gonna take the curtain, right? And I'm gonna cover it up. And then I'm gonna make the kids pick that up. I'm just gonna let all the bug juices dry. Now I feel like it's gonna come back and haunt me in my sleep. So anyways, just gonna ask for forgiveness. Sorry, God, So I get asked a lot, why do you feel like you have to save people? Why are you always consistently putting people before you? You have to stop doing that. And I agree with them, but then I also get upset with them, because it's just like, but then here we are, you and I having this conversation, and I still yet have to come to your level and make you feel comfortable. So how can you tell me not to put other people first, and then I'm still having to put you first? So no, but in all honesty, which they're right. You can't pour from an empty cup. And I understand that, and I think this is where I'm hard-headed at, because of this is where spirituality comes in at, and then, also discernment. But I feel like there's no such thing. Like, if I feel like if I have a relationship with God, and if I know that God is source, period, that even whatever it is that I distribute out, it's not mine to even begin with. So I can't say that I have an empty cup. I may not have money, but I have time. I may not have time, but I have time. And when I do take the time out to give you my time, even if it's just a quick second, then I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do the best that I can to encourage you and be of service. Now, it's different for those who live with me in the house, because it's like they get to see all of it, all of my emotions and things that I go through. But this is for those who live outside of the world of Reace. So no, I can't save everybody. But, like I said, I had this conversation with my sister the other day, and it's a reoccurring conversation. It is. And my rebuttals for it, and I say rebuttal for lack of what I really want to say, but I don't even want to try to explain it. But my rebuttal, because we're going to call it a rebuttal, for those who give me that speech is, well, it used to be, well, how would we have known how deep and wide the Grand Canyon would have been if we didn't have people discovering it? How would we know about these things if we didn't have people literally go out there and discover it? And so now that I'm getting are they jamming? And so now they jamming, they grooving. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now that I'm getting well, you can't save everybody speech, I'm like, well, what do you say to people who call 911? What do you say to people who call 911? What do you say to first responders? What do you say to doctors and nurses? No, they can't save everybody either, but that's what they signed up for. And who's to say that my purpose here in life is not to be a first responder to whoever God calls me to be a first responder to? So I don't look at me doing for others and getting the quote unquote short end of the stick. And the only reason why I say that, because the human part of me says it's a short end of the stick, because when I look at those who I help, they, I get, there is flourishing for them. And then by the time I get back home, home is lacking, or it seems that home is lacking, for whatever reason. And there's spiritual talk behind that, but I'm not ready to go there with you guys behind it. So, I understand the thing of you can't help others if you're not able to help yourself. But then I understand my calling. I know I can comfortably, wholeheartedly say that today, right now, in this moment, I know who I am. I know who I am right now. And what I mean by that is I'm comfortable with who I am, which means I have to know who I am. Usually you get uncomfortable with the things that you don't know. You know what I mean? So I know who I am. I've been knowing who I am. And tomorrow something's going to change, and my beliefs may change. But even in that second, I'm going to know who I am, what I like, what I don't like, what I feel, what I don't feel, what I'm thinking, what I'm not thinking. I know who I am. I know who I am. I know me. I'm the one who is going into the prayer closet. I'm the one who's doing the meditation. I'm the one who's having to fast. I'm the one who's making my own personal spiritual connection. So I know who I am. And I know that my life does not look easy for those who are along with the quote unquote shit show. I have learned to be okay with those who have learned to keep their distance. Because me too, like if I can't understand somebody's lifestyle, I'll just keep my distance. And I'll pray for you and I'll send you love and I wish you all the best. But if I can't understand it, then it's either I'll try to understand it. But if it's just not meant for me to understand, then I know how to mind my business. But I know who I am and I know what I'm called to do. I've known this all my life. You know, everything that I've been through in my life isn't just the, oh, poor Reace. Oh, man, you've had it rough. It was for a reason. Unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, but how I choose to look at it is that God has shaped and molded me. He shaped and molded me. I am no longer going to look at myself as if there's something wrong with me when God made me. If I have to take it up with God about myself, pull a number. Go get a ticket. Because there's a whole line behind me, okay? There's a whole line behind me. So I jump into these things with the mindset of, I just want to spread love and kindness. I want people to feel the way how I feel sometimes. That you may not feel like people are noticing or looking, but you're awesome. You are amazing and you're great. And I don't know what this season may be for us, stranger, but I would like to offer my services because I believe in you. I am a complete stranger. I don't know you and you don't know me, but I believe in you. And when I look at you, I see me. Period. So, you know, there are times where I do disappear and won't nobody hear from me because I do have to like go back into like hiding mode and you know, it's like I call it like, because I'm not gonna lie, I won't talk to people for like a really long time. I will go months without a phone number, and I don't give a shit about it. And people are like, well, it's so hard to be in contact with you. Hey, I am on social media, so I'm a very like earthy person, down to earth, but then I do love technology at the same time and everything that comes with it. Everything has its pros and cons. It is what it is. I love all the earthly, worldly, human connection too, but it comes with its pros and cons too. So I like the best of both worlds. It is what it is. It's here. I'm going to fucking enjoy it. Period. Okay? So there are times where I get away from everybody and then I deal with everybody digitally and then I get away from everybody digitally and then I'm just centered. And really, majority of the time, I'm centered here at home because I have what? Little ducklings that I am trying to get across the lake. And you know, 4 little ducks went swimming one day. Okay? And that's a true story. 4 went out. Whatever, mother duck said quack, 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 and only 3 little ducks came back. And that's real nigga shit, you know what I'm saying? Your kids gonna get older. And they are gonna leave the nest eventually. And you're gonna be like, wait, where have you been? Quack, 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 quack. And then they all come back because that's the way how the story goes. And if you have kids, you know what song I'm talking about. And that's, you know, so it's just like I'm trying to, you know, and then I'm in a relationship. And that's a whole nother world in itself. So it's just like all these little worlds colliding into this one big universe in our home. And there's more worlds and universes that need to collide. So, I mean, it's a process, but I love it. And I am my best version of me when I'm taking care of house and home. I'm my best version of me when I'm making sure that my family's good. I'm my best version of me when my honey, my significant other, is good, when my children are good, and then branching off to that. You know, I'm good when my family's good, but I'm good when home is good because I feel like, you know, this is what I signed up for. When you have kids, that's what you signed up for. It is what it is. So take care of your responsibilities. Take care of them, not just physically. Take care of them, not just mentally, but take care of them spiritually and emotionally too. And what I mean by spiritually, like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with passing down the things that's worked for you. And, you know, I don't, you know, because I do pass down my foundation of my beliefs and what I grew up and what was taught to me. But I also put the disclaimer for them, but you are you, and you have to have a personal relationship with God, no matter what. Whatever it is that you learn about anything, is that it's important for you to have a relationship with God and then go from there. It's a very tedious thing. You can't just drop on a child you're supposed to have a relationship with God, and then expect for them to just get it, because as you're getting older, you're still understanding it. So how do we expect for our kids to understand spirituality and religion and all these other things? We tell them this is what you do or else, and that's not good enough for me. So yeah, I want to make sure that I take care of them physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And it's a lot of work. But when I focus my energy on my family at home, I'm a better person. Then I can tackle the world. But if I go and I tackle the world and I come back and it's been neglect, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. And I know most people are like, well, Reace, that's one of the reasons why you haven't had a job in a long time, and we'll have that conversation another day. But I am getting back into the working field, and I'm excited about that. So it's been a lot. So all of this to say that I'm super excited to start this podcast and go ahead and post it and call it a freaking day. I'm not going to speak anything crazy to it, because this is not my first attempt doing so. I have many of other recordings, but it's either A, I didn't like the way how I sound in them, B, I was recording them during a lower vibrational time when I wasn't necessarily feeling my best. So it's just like, I want to make sure that whatever I put out there, it sends a message. It's real life shit, but it is what it is. And that's, if anything, that's just, I want this podcast to be like, we're just going for a drive and we're just talking about really everything and anything. Really, I'm the driver and you're chilling, and then maybe eventually we can build it up where I can have guests come on and we can just talk about real life shit, and we can take turns driving, going on this road trip. So maybe I should call this podcast Road Trip with Reace. Yay! But no, we're just going to call it just Reace, because, I'm in the house recording this. And I feel like Road Trip with Reace would be great if I was in a car. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like, yeah, we're actually in a car. And then be sitting here. It's like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm spiritually driving, mentally, whatever. But I'm not physically driving nowhere right now. Nowhere. No, but this is just an icebreaker, intro. People are like, this is the intro, but I'm gonna call it the icebreaker. And then after the icebreaker, I will give you guys a more chiseled intro, and then go from there. So yeah, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. It's your girl Reace. Just Reace. I'ma only be me. I only expect for you to only be you, because who else can you be? It is what it is. I will holler at you guys later. Bye.
You can do anything you want when you sexy. Money make me feel good. People don't impress me. Shawty, I'm a god with a stroke. It's a blessing. Count of the dead, what? Yeah, count of the dead, what? Yeah, you can do anything you want when you sexy. Money make me feel good. People don't impress me. Shawty, I'm a god with a stroke. It's a blessing. Count of the dead, what? Yeah, count of the dead, what? Yeah, count of the dead. You sexy. Do what you want. They can never impress me. Like a religion, I'm getting my blessings. Who out here winning? I'm counting and counting. I counted the dead for sure. Promise I'm getting my bread for sure. Used to be dark and I color my soul. I love my city, my heart in the rose. Cracking the codes. You sexy, huh? Just telling you sexy, huh? I love when you confident.